Welcome back to this day. Have you ever had back pain? Have you ever not been able to get out of bed because your back won't let you? Well, today we have Dr. Brian Huang with MemorialCare, and he's going to give us a lot of information that could be a huge relief for people having back pain. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, first off, did you survive Tropical Storm Hillary? Did you have any issues with that?
Barely.
How about the hospital? Any water damage or anything?
Thankfully, no. I think we're ready. There's enough warning. So.
Well, and it's a newer building too, right? It's not that old. So, yeah, that's good. I know. To me, I'm like, we've had worse storms in the winter time. One time I had a tree come down, we couldn't even leave our street. So,
oh my God.
And we didn't even have branches in the street this time. There was not much
thank God.
wind, knock on wood, at least here in this area.
Yeah, we're very fortunate this time, for sure.
So tell me about yourself. Why did you want to become a neurosurgeon?
I think I'm very lucky to have really good mentors who guided me throughout my life, and I had this burning passion to serve others. And so I always appreciate all the opportunities and mentors I had in life, and I wanted to challenge myself to serve people who have a difficult medical problem. And so neurosurgery, neurology, involves a lot of challenging, complex diseases that affect people for a long periods of time. And so I wanted to serve those people and bring some joy and happiness and cure to them. So.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of definitely the benefits of your job is being someone who maybe was in pain or had a problem and then being able to correct that. I would imagine that is very fulfilling.
Yes, challenging, but fulfilling.
And so I understand you were a U.S. Army Green Beret medical sergeant.
Yes.
As well. Were you on the front lines during time of war?
Yes. So as a combat medic and a Green Beret, my first job was a shooter, so I was an infantryman. And then I received additional training once I qualified as a Green Beret to serve as a medic on a team. And so I was deployed to multiple locations and thankfully came back without too much harm.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. What was the most significant lesson you would say you'd have taken from that time of when you were involved with that?
That this is an amazing country, that we do a lot of good around the world, and there's amazing men and women on the front lines and behind protecting this country and also making ultimate sacrifices. So it was very humbling and touching. But at the same time, I also realized that just being a good citizen, you don't have to serve in uniform, just being a good citizen, it does a lot to serve this great country.
Yes, absolutely. And so you were a neurosurgeon for the FDA Center for Devices and Radiological Health as well. What was that like?
So actually, I'm currently serving as a neurosurgeon for the FDA, and that also goes back to my passion for serving. And I am very interested in neurosurgery and innovation, and FDA's job is to safeguard the public and make sure that we bring the safest and the most effective tested neurosurgical treatments to the community and to American population. So that's a lifelong mission for me, and that's why I'm going to be staying with the agency and supporting their mission.
Is it hard to get new devices approval?
Yes, it is,
yeah.
for good reasons. Because obviously there's a lot of innovative minds in this country, but our job is to work with them and collaborate with them, not make their job harder, but to guide them in a way that they can get those very important treatments that currently don't exist in the hands of doctors and Americans.
If something is going to become FDA approved, and it does all that it says it's going to do, and you have worked it and tested it, how long of a process can that be?
Wow. 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
3 to 5 years, yeah. And we have, I'm really happy to say that we have a very rigorous testing standards within the FDA, and so the products that get released, of course, we're going to continue to monitor them for the lifetime of the products, but they're very safe and effective in general.
Any devices that are major impact today that you helped to get cleared?
Since I'm an active FDA member, I cannot comment on that.
Oh, okay, all right.
but I do review all neurosurgical and neuroendovascular as well as rehab-related devices and guide their clinical trials and also aftermarket reviews.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, wonderful. And what would you say, At the end of your career, one day, when you retire one day,
Yeah.
what do you hope has been your legacy or your impact on this field?
You know, I'm just one person. I'm just one human being. So all I want to know is that I made a positive impact in my community. That's all.
I love that. So today we're talking about spinal cord stimulation therapy,
Yeah.
which is being used to treat chronic pain and neuropathy.
Yeah.
What are some of the common spine conditions that people 55 and older are dealing with?
So as you mentioned, beginning of the show, almost everybody has experienced back pain at some point. And unfortunately, as we get older, we continue to want to be active, but our spine and the nerves that go through them and the spinal cord, they unfortunately go through wear and tear. And so usually that translates into pain. A lot of the times, you don't need anything special. With rest and some over-the-counter medication, pain will get better. But in few situations, the pain can become out of control. And the way I think about it is there can be a hardware problem, meaning it can be related to a structure problem, like a bone fracture can push on a nerve, or disc herniation can push on a nerve and cause pain. But I also realize, and the medical community has realized recently, that there's a lot of software-related issues with the nerves. For instance, if you have a shingles, and then that damages your nerve, or if you have a car accident, and then it damages the nerve, those situations can spiral out of control and cause chronic pain. In those situations, unfortunately, besides powerful medications that unfortunately have a lot of side effects, we haven't had effective treatment. And so this is where neuromodulation literally means we modify the nerves. These types of treatments are really taking this whole field by storm and bringing meaningful pain relief to people.
Wow, that's wonderful. And so what's the difference between chronic pain and neuropathy? Or is that kind of what you're saying with the...
Yeah, this is a very good question. So chronic pain in general means pain that has been going on for months. And that usually means that there is a process that's going on that unfortunately body cannot handle effectively on its own and to resolve the actual issue. And neuropathy is a specific type of chronic pain that's caused by injury to the nerve. And the injury can be due to many, many reasons. Like I mentioned, it could be due to an accident. It can be due to an infection like shingles. It can also be due to a heart attack that causes nerves that are related to the heart. It can be due to diabetes or peripheral vascular disease. All these conditions are very common in our communities. And even if you have led a very healthy life, due to many factors, one can develop these symptoms and conditions as one gets older. And because nerves are very, very expensive organs and they're very sensitive to the things that happen in our body, even high sugar levels, blood pressure problems, circulation problems can affect the nerves and can turn them into a pain-generating chronic pain situation.
Are they differently treated, or you treat them the same?
Chronic pain and neuropathy?
Yes.
So it all depends on what the actual issue is. And so generally for neuropathy, we start with understanding what the problem is. Is it an acute pain? It hasn't going on for a few weeks. Has been going on for months? So we determine the chronicity, how long it's been going on for, and then we try to figure out, is it a hardware problem? So as a spine surgeon myself, I try to figure out, is there a structural problem that's causing this chronic pain that can be treated with surgery by fixing the structural problem? And then if that's not the concern, then we look at the software issues of the nerve, which we may not necessarily be able to see on imaging, but we can understand based on symptoms. And those, a subset of those people may benefit from neuromodulation therapy.
So how does the spinal cord stimulation, how does it help? How does it work?
So it is really fascinating because we all had this experience. Let's say you get a bee sting in your thigh, and the next movement that one automatically makes is rubbing that area, and then instantly the pain starts feeling better. And so it is actually the same concept. And so people have figured out, or in ancient Egyptian time, that if you have a painful toe, when you stick your foot in the Nile River, an electrical eel will come and bite your toe, and then there'll be some electrical stimulation, and then the pain goes away. And so people have realized that there is one road to the brain where all the pain sensations received and processed. So if you hijack that pathway with neuromodulation, low stimulation electricity, then you can actually scramble the pain signal coming from either your feet, your knee, your leg, your buttock, your back, and essentially trick their brain into thinking the pain stimulation doesn't exist.
Okay.
That's how it basically works.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Definitely, I'm sure there's much more information to know about it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but thank you for being here. And you know, if anybody has any back issues, please come speak to Dr. Huang. He will definitely help you out. So, neurosurgeon with MemorialCare. But don't go anywhere. Coming up next, we have amazing hearing right here on This Day.